Oh man, what a beautiful day in Pennsylvania. No blue sky anywhere. Oh, it's great. Got the rain falling. Couldn't ask for more. We got mud everywhere. Oh, I can't wait to get out into this. Oh yeah, I'm gonna really enjoy this weather. This is fantastic. Oh man, beautiful. Okay guys, for those of you who are watching the channel for the hydroponic stuff, now you can see the lettuce seedlings have come up pretty nice. Got some over here that are lagging, but it doesn't matter, there's plenty there. So we got these containers ready now. Okay, they're either 32 or 41 quart, I forget, it doesn't matter which. I don't know if that blue number means 41 quarts is what it is or what, but anyway, they're Rubbermaid containers with holes. I have 4 holes drilled in them, and you can make more depending upon what you have there. And then these are the net pots that fit in there. Okay, so these things we just cleaned out this morning, both of them, so that we can put the fluid in there and it not be contaminated. Now what I do to clean these out every year is I use a little bit of Clorox in water, and that'll clean them out, but you want to rinse it real good then so the Clorox residue's away from the container then when you start to plant the stuff in it. So I'm going to go mix the chemicals that get put into the water, and then once I put the water into the container there, then we'll be able to transplant the lettuce plants, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'm in a greenhouse this morning. It's well, it's just 36, 37 degrees in here. Mostly my lumber stacked in here, which my wife wants me to get out. So I've been evicted. So I got to move this stuff out of here after spring comes, whenever that's going to be. But for now, what I want to show you is how I mix these chemicals for the lettuce. Okay, so what I have here is Epsom salt that you can buy at the drugstore, calcium nitrate, and this is called Master Blend that I bought from one of the fertilizer companies. I'm not sure where they are. Look at this dog. Bullseye, why are you chewing on that? No! So anyway, Master Blend, calcium nitrate, and Epsom salt. So what I have here then is I have a little recipe for myself written down now. These are for a 5-gallon bucket. So you need 154 grains of Master Blend, 154 grains of calcium nitrate, and 77 grains of Epsom salt. And what I do is I measure that out on this scale. It's a grain scale for gunpowder, but I'm using that. I broke this down from what the original recipe is. Well, my recommendation is buy the stuff if you're going to be doing this, and then just do the math to figure out however you're going to measure it, how to break it down. And 5-gallon buckets for me is the best because I can handle the water that way easier. So for the Master Blend, 154, so there's 150 on the scale. Right there, 150, and then I just set this side at 4. This one can be set at 0. And just take a scoop, any kind of scooper, and put that in there until it tips the scale. You don't have to be perfect with it, but you do want to be, you know, relatively close. And then I just throw that into the 5-gallon bucket. And you want to keep this stuff close because it's kind of like a salt, and it will get hard as a rock if you're not careful with it. So then 154 grains of the Master Blend, which that tipped the scale pretty quickly there. Right about there's right. Or not Master Blend, this is calcium nitrate, I'm sorry. So 154 grains of Master Blend, 154 grains of calcium nitrate, and then half of that of Epsom salt, which is 77. So 50, 60, 70, and then 7. And we'll put Epsom salt in there until the scale tips. Okay. So that is the recipe for 5 gallons of it. Now you can break that down if you have this type of a scale. Otherwise, you're sort of on your own to figure out what the mix would be. And that's for lettuce. I also use the master blend for tomatoes and peppers, but it's a different recipe. But that's the one for the lettuce. So then once you throw this stuff in the bucket, you can see it turns kind of green. What I got to do now is fill this with water. Now I use well water, and I forget what the pH is supposed to be for this, but my well water is that, and I don't even bother testing it anymore. I just fill a bucket with water, and that makes 5 gallons of this stuff. So like I was saying, just take regular well water and put it in there. We're on a well, so this is what happened with us. Now our water sometimes in these pipes, I'm not using them all winter, is a little bit rusty, but in the water, but it clears itself up quick. But that's not going to hurt the chemical mix at all. Here's the deal with this amount of water that you put in here. A 5 gallon, the 41 quart tubbies take 7 gallons of water to keep the water high enough that the plant will get water from the beginning and it'll last right till the end of the plant. You may have to add water one time depending upon what good the plants do, but 7 gallons in each. So I need to make another 5 gallon bucket, split it amongst the 2 tubbies, and then one more 5 gallon bucket for the top one. I'm not sure why, but some brands of calcium nitrate, like the stuff you just saw in the video there, that calcium nitrate is a little big, the lumps are big, but for some reason the bigger lumps break down in water faster than the smaller ones. Because I bought another brand, and I'm not sure what the brand was, it's been a while, but it had smaller granules and I thought they would break down faster, but they actually don't. The best way to do this is if you use a hose, you can get yourself some turbulence going in the bucket, and it usually breaks it down real fast. So I mean, it's better if you have a hose. You can go around in a circle and stuff like that and make it mix up better, and then it breaks down. You really should break it down before you go putting it back into the tubbies. So once the tubbies are filled then, and like I say, our water has a little bit of rust in it, or you can say quite a bit because of that pipe not being used, but it doesn't seem to affect the plants at all. So once you have the pots filled, and usually if you fill them up to the line right here, this break, that seems to be the best. So you fill them up with water and you put the lids on them, and you can snap the lids down. And then after you do that, then I have a cover here I'll put over top. I'll show you that. So then all I do is take a garbage bag. These are the big ones, like the contractor bags, and split the bag in half so you don't be wasting it. And you can take and lay that sheet of black plastic. Now you want black because you want to try and keep the sunlight and even the light from the lights hitting the water directly, or else it'll make algae in there. So I just put that cover on top, slice an X wherever the pots are going to go, and then you can just take the pot and transplant them, stick them in. What you want to do then is take the net pots and clean them out. You can just pretty much rinse them in water, wipe them off with your hand, and then just shake them out and they should be fine. What it is there's a little bit of built up, you can't see it on here, but there's a little bit of white built up salts from the chemicals, and you want to sort of get that off of there, because once it takes a hold it really is hard to get off. So I do it every year. I clean this stuff. Now besides the containers and the water and chemicals and all, you want to have yourself some ready available fairly clean stone. Now there's some leaves and stuff in here from the lettuce that was grown in it last year, but it's not going to make a big deal. If it wasn't so cold out and stuff, I would be much more fussier about this, but it's cold out and I don't feel like being out there in the wet, because I don't really have a good place inside to do the water work. So I'm going to just put that stone in. But what you do is I'll take a net pot and I'll reach in here and grab a hold of the lettuce. Now you want to be gentle with it, and I'll put one on one side of the net pot, okay, and I'll try to raise it up a little bit, not a whole lot, and then one on the other side of the net pot, and then I'll start putting stone in there. You want to be sort of gentle with it, I'm not really a green thumb kind of person, but if you're sort of gentle with this, you'll get it to grow pretty good. So you put stone in there, try and get the leaves to stay up, and they will grow even if you're a little rough with it. Okay, and then I just take them and put them in the hole. And that's it. That's all you got to do. In a couple weeks, probably 2 weeks, Sally will be cutting lettuce off there for our dinner. So again, I think I'll put a little bit of stone on the bottom, just a real thin layer to keep the plants up a little. It makes it easier to handle. Put one in there. Make sure the roots are down at the bottom. You want to, like there's a root string there. Make sure the string goes to the bottom. Keep the leaves sort of out there, and they're very delicate, but they're also hardy. They'll continue to grow. So I'll put another one in there, and then more stone. Now I have a better thing than doing this by hand, and like I say, it's cold out and I don't feel like going over to the greenhouse. I actually have a nice little scooper that just fits just nice in here. So you fill that up until the holes are basically covered. Find your hole that you want to put it in there, and then just put it in. And it's that easy, and like I say, this is going to grow good. You can see how big those lettuce leaves are. I mean, they're as long as my finger already. So you don't want to wait much longer, because once the roots get to the point where they start to intertangle with one another, you're going to have problems pulling them out, and the chances of them staying living are a little less. So you want to get this when the roots, you want to get it when the roots are just long enough that they're going to grab a lot of water, but at the same time that they're not going to intermingle with the other roots, because then you won't be able to pull them out without killing them. Now this is how I do it. There's plenty of videos for other things, but I'm not a real gardener. I actually don't like gardening, but this hydroponics was great for me because it just is so easy and there's no dirt involved. Not that I don't get dirty. I mean, if you watch my other videos, it's not the dirt. It's just, I don't know, I'm tired of working in actual mud. But alright, so we pull another one out, and again, a little bit of stone. Put the roots down at the bottom, okay? We'll put a bigger one and a smaller one in here so the smaller one can get some advice from the bigger one on how to grow. Now you can get away with only one in a net pot. You don't necessarily have to have two, but we're doing this just as like insurance. We'll put that in here. And I'll show you what that looks like down there. So that's it then. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8 sections of leaf lettuce there, okay? And because it's directly under the light, you know, it's going to grow like crazy as long as it's in the water. And when I pull this out, you can see the bottom of it's dripping there, so it's got water. So as long as it's in the chemicals, it's going to grow. So we'll show you when we do the first cutting and stuff. Sometimes my wife gets a little excited. She'll come in here and start cutting and scalp them, so I have to kind of hold her back, tell her I'm not hungry for lettuce, and then she won't cut them. So that's how you do it. I'm going to do the other one here, and it's actually that simple. So I hope this helps somebody to learn how to do hydroponics. As far as where you buy this stuff, I think there's a place called Monster Gardens, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about that, but either way, just go to a gardening thing that sells hydroponic stuff on the website, and you can buy, I think, anything from 5-pound bags up to 25-pound containers, which I usually buy a big 25-pound container and then divide it up over my little coffee cans that I have. But so I'm going to do those other 4, and that'll be the end of that. Thanks for watching this, guys. Okay, guys, so that's the 2 ponds there. The lower one and the upper one are filled with lettuce. Now there's some lettuce left here, obviously. What I'll do is I'll get another pond over here and set that up. I'm not actually going to do it today because these leaves are kind of small. I'll let them grow a little bit more and then we'll go from there. My wife informed me this morning that I have to add on to our chicken coop. So I guess these guys are going to force me to start to build. But if I build a chicken coop, I can definitely build something for my lumber. So I'm going to have to talk her into that. They're getting big.